Nelson Mandela, A Long Walk to Freedom by Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. You see, this chapter is dedicated to the black community who suffered, torn down, and tortured, tormented by the white community after the Anglo-Boer War, which is won by the white community, and apartheid, which was imposed on the black community. Let's understand this one by one. First of all, see, Nelson Mandela took oath as the first black president of South Africa, the first non-racial government in Pretoria in a lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union Buildings in 10 May 1994. Here we have the number of questions that you can see in your MCQ. First question you may have, who took the president as a president oath? That was Nelson Mandela. Very simple. Next one you may have the question, what kind of government was formed? That was non-racial government and democratic government. Then where was the oath ceremony held? Then you will have this one. This is Saint Stone's amphitheater. Amphitheater means a building without roof. This is our half building without roof. That is from all sides, that is walls, no roof there. That is called amphitheater. So the place was Pretoria. The building was sandstone amphitheater, and this building was formed by Union Buildings. And when this was held, so that was 10 May 1994, this was the day Nelson Mandela took oath as the first black president of South Africa. Let's move to the next point. Nelson's daughter's name was Zenani, and you see Nelson's daughter. Who was the daughter of Nelson Mandela? Zenani. Then second deputy president. Who was the second deputy president who took the oath there? Mr. De Klerk. Remember, Mr. De Klerk was second deputy president. Then Thabo Mbeki was the first deputy president. So remember this. Who was the second deputy president? Mr. De Klerk was the second deputy president. Who was the first deputy president? Thabo Mbeki. And who was the daughter of Nelson Mandela? That was Zenani. Remember there. Now coming to the third point here. The President Nelson, I have written very intentionally this one. Rolihlahla. How to remember this? Roli, R-O-L-I, Roli, and then Hala, H-L-A. This is Rolihlahla Mandela. So that you remember this one. Okay? So the full name of President Nelson Mandela, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, promised to set up a glorious democratic and non-racial government of the world through, see here, and what he said, set up, that is a glorious democratic and non-racial government of the world, though the black had to suffer human disaster. What does it mean? That the time they suffered, the black community suffered, they were tortured, tormented, downtrodden, operations, all types of suppressions made on them. However, when the first time the black community was going to form a government, that was going to form a non-racial democratic government where there the white community will get the same equal liberty and freedom and enfranchisement, emancipation as the black community was going to get. This is what the biggest thing, and this promise was made by Nelson Mandela. Then see after that here. The next one is here given the whites national anthem. This is the white and then black community. They were given the respect, due respect. And for that, two national anthems that was granted. One for the white community and another for the black community. So the whites community, they had their song. Remember, Nkosi Siklel E Africa. That is and the second one, the black community dies stem. So remember, you remember only one, like the black community, for them they had the national anthem dies stem. So of course the second one will be Nkosi Sikelel E Africa, and that is for white community. We'll move to the next number, and here they had the kind of feeling that nobody from both sides, whether it is from white community or from black community, they didn't understand the meaning of the national anthem. However, they had the feeling and that kind of sensation as we Indians we have after reciting our own national anthem Jana Gana Mana. So how this is how you can understand what the mean here. What does it mean here? That they didn't understand meaning, however they had a great patriotic feelings after reciting, singing both songs, or that is their own songs. Now moving to the next number. This is the first decade of 20th saw Anglo-Boer. In the beginning I told you this is what when happened the first decade. It means this is 19 and 1900, between 1910. In between 19 and 1910, that time Anglo-Boer war taken place, in which black community they were defeated by the white community, and a racial government was formed, in which the black community was imposed with apartheid, indiscrimination, inequality, and their all the rights, rightful rights, taken away from them, and they were left without. Even they were not human beings at that time. They were even not animal. They were just like treated as an object, and therefore Nelson Mandela further said about their condition before independence and before removing apartheid, that the people of South Africa, the black community, they were like slave, they were like an object, and that's why they had human disaster that no any community they had never ever experienced before. This is the words of Nelson Mandela. Now moving to next number. Here we have the great leaders of South Africa from black community. This is a racial white government was formed. Apartheid was imposed on the black. Here we have Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Chief Luthulus, Yusuf Dedu, Brian Fisher, Robert Sobukwe. This is South African leaders. These are the South African leaders, and they tolerated all of them, whether it is Tambo, Sisulu, Luthulus, Dedu, Fisher, Sobukwe. These are the titles. If you remember these titles, that will help you also to remember them, so that in MCQ if you have the question, you can come to know which one is from South Africa and which one not. This is how South African and these leaders they tolerated without breaking their faith that they can abolish apartheid and indiscrimination, without breaking their strength, without breaking their willpower. They continuously suffered all the things, and that gave immense power and strength and motivation, inspiration to Nelson Mandela to continue his struggle, and which actually helped him to make South Africa an independent, non-racial country. So let's say further, this is what their will, strength, determination to abolish, tolerated without. So that much of suffering. However, these leaders, those sufferings were not sufficient to remove their willpower, their strength, determination to abolish apartheid from the country. Now see, after that what happened? This gave power to Mandela to become from fearful man. See, these are important words. These are the important words. What happened to Mandela after seeing this kind of great extreme power and then ability to tolerate such kind of operation suppression in those people of South African National Congress leaders. You see here, because such kind of operations, people generally they give up, they don't want to continue, but these leaders they continued, and this is what actually inspired Nelson Mandela to continue himself also to make country a free country, liberate those people who were the black community, to liberate them from apartheid and indiscrimination. So here we have like what happened to him in the beginning. Nelson Mandela, he was a fearful man. But seeing those comrades and companions who faced that kind of problem, then he got to know he could also overcome his fear. And that is what he thought. Overcome fear is the real meaning of saying I am. And if you say that I am not fearing, I don't have fear, then he said that that is a big lie. It's not possible. To overcome your fear, that means you are a brave person, you're a bold person. He was in the beginning was a coward man. That is what he's saying. I was a fearful man, and he became fearful man to a bold man, a bold person. Without, and then after that, this is what he's talking about. From law-abiding attorney, that he respect law, and then respectful, very respecting law, and then a very good citizen. And from there he became to a criminal person. From a good citizen, from a law-abiding autonomous, a law-abiding person, he became a criminal. Family loving husband, from a family loving husband who loves family, who loves to live with family, and then he had to leave his family, so he became a homeless man, a man without home. And then a life loving man, one who loves to live with the people, socialization, and then going and talking, and then this all those things, making friends, all those things. But he had to live like a monk. So from a life loving man to live like a monk. And these are the transformations came in Nelson Mandela, and due to all to make his people, black community, free from, liberate from the apartheid and indiscrimination, and to give them emancipation, enfranchisement, freedom, liberty, and so on, and to set up non-racial government in South Africa. This is, let's move to the next number. This is two obligations. So he also talked about when he became young, and then after that he went to Johannesburg, and there he saw he was not allowed to keep a family. Then he got to know the thought he had that was totally wrong. He was as long as he obeyed the the culture and the customs and the tradition of his own tribal people, then he was free. But it was just a wrong conception he had when he was young. When young in the sense in his childhood time. Now when he grew up and went to Johannesburg, and there what he faced later we will come to know. So here he is talking about Nelson Mandela, in black community, the black people, they were not allowed to have a family. They were not allowed to you see that carry out the responsibilities and then accountability for the country as well, for the society. And this is what he's written to two obligations, one for family and another for society or nation. A black person was not allowed to perform or not allowed to discharge his or her duty, and was not allowed to keep a family, not allowed to make marriages, not allowed to keep their children with them, not allowed to have a husband with a wife and a wife with the husband. This was the condition at that time. Then now we are moving to, this is the another point, chevron. This is the important point, maybe coming in your MCQ question. Chevron Impala jets. This is chevron Impala jets left smoke in V shape. This is chevron Impala that left smoke in a V shape when the aeroplanes they were moving in the sky, and from its backside jets, Impala, that is chevron Impala, it's a jets, and these jets they left smokes in a V shape, and this V shape having different colors. So these colors like black, B for black, B for blue, G for green, G for gold, and R for red. So you remember B, B, G, G, R. Blue, black, green, and gold, and red. This is how you can remember these colors, maybe coming in the MCQ, which are the colors in the chevron Impala jets after smoking, which are left in the air by performing the acrobatic performance in the air by the aeroplane Impala jets. Now coming to next, as a child playing. This is what, as a child, what is the Nelson Mandela when he was young? So what he thought, as long as he stayed with he obeyed his fathers and then the tribal people and the customs and tradition of the tribal, then he was free to do anything like going and playing, swimming in the streams and the pools and the rivers and the roasting mealies, that hunting, and then that fishing the fish and then roasting them, like all those things he could do, riding bulls, slowly riding the bulls. And then when that is the he had the thought when he was a young, very young in childhood time. When he grew and then he was a student, started going to school and then colleges. Then he had the idea, the meaning of freedom, that was that staying out in the night time, not to study, what to do, like whatever the books he wanted to study, that he could read, not no any other force on him to do the things which he did not want to do. And then wherever he wanted to go, there he could go, whatever he wanted to read, that he could read. All those things actually as a student was the meaning of freedom for Nelson Mandela. And this is what the transition that came in him, transformation that came in him one by one. And then see after that what happened. He, after when he went to Johannesburg, here you see what is that, at the end I have written here that wherever go, and then a young man in Johannesburg, when he young man means when after passing college and he went to Johannesburg to work there, he wanted to earn money, and at that time he came to know he was a slave. He was a slave and he cannot have a job as the other white people have, and he could not have a family as the other white people they have, and so he got to understand he was a slave and he had to fight. So he joined South Africa. So after that I have written what here, see, an oppressor is a here I have written he knows that he was a slave joining African National Congress Party. So finally he joined South African National Congress Party, and then he also got to know about great leaders. Once again I am coming back to the great leaders name, which is very important, maybe coming in your MCQ. You must remember, if any of them come, like you may have the question Oliver Tambo, Fisher, Sobukwe, and any other name. So these are the three names which are from the freedom fighters of South Africa. One is not out of them. You are asked which one is not the South African freedom fighters. So how can you come to know? You should know. You only remember what is like Tambo, Sisulu, Sobukwe, Luthulis, etc. Like here given all this in Fisher. These names, these titles you must remember. Like they do. That will help you to find out the correct leader, and then you can have the right answer. And MCQ, for the purpose of MCQ I have done this much of work. This is, and in a nutshell I have done all these things. So must listen me carefully so that you won't lose your 1 marks in your exam. Now coming to here, see, this is what I have written, that an oppressor means one who oppress, suppress, torture, one who tortures others. That person is called oppressor. So oppressor is a prisoner of hatred. Prisoner of hatred means if I am hating someone. So Nelson Mandela says ki hating someone, it's not natural. You have to effort from your side to hate someone. You don't hate anyone without any reason. But to love anyone, there is a reason. No, there is no reason. Like you look at beautiful birds, the skies and clouds, you feel very happy. You don't, and happy means you love that thing. So that is what love is natural, and then hating is not natural, and that's why hating, it's a troublesome. When you hate, you have the negative energy in your body, and therefore here it is said, oppressor is a prisoner of hatred. When you hate someone, then you are the prisoner of hatred. You also suffer when you suffer somebody's. When you suffer somebody, you also suffering with your own hating to others, and this is the prisoner of hatred. Thus the oppressor and the oppressor, one who oppressing someone and then one who is being oppressed, both are alike robbed their humanity. It means both humanity means what? Goodness, helping others. So when one is doing wrong with others, his humanity is also robbed, and one who is being beaten up, being tortured, that person humanity is also robbed. So all together. And one more line which is important, remember, one more line which is important, that the depth of operations creates the heights of character. And this is what is here mentioned, which means when the leaders, they were in that condition, then only they had that great heights of character, which helped South Africans, black community, to get liberated from all those, apartheid and indiscrimination and all those tortures. So with this note, this chapter is covered, and important points. I hope you have understood. Remember always the name of the chapter. The name of the chapter, Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. This is the whole chapter, and then the name of the writer, Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. This is, I am telling you this way, this pronunciation, so that you remember it, you don't forget. With this note, this chapter is over. Thank you very much.